Self-Destruct sequence activated. Self-Destruct in T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Self-Destruct Sequence podcast. I'm Ron Clee, filling in for Morphod. This is episode 47. Today is Sunday, March 19th. All right, so we'll get into our news here. We have Overload making some noise after releasing the playable teaser trailer. They now have an early access on Steam. They have submitted for early access and have been granted it, and they released on March 13th. You can check that over at playoverload.com, and if you click on the Get It on Steam link, you can go directly to Steam and you can find basically find Overload. Definitely download it, play it. It is probably one of the slickest looking 6 Degree of Freedom games out there right now. That is taking Descent Underground into account. They've done a really good job with this so far, so definitely check them out. And you could also I don't think there's a DRM free download for this one, like the teaser trailer was, but you can still get the early access edition over on Steam, so go check it out. Also, Sublevel Zero Redux has released on Xbox, also I believe on the 13th. This version includes 3 difficulties, including there's an easy, normal, and a hardcore mode. There's new rooms, there's new enemies, they have some new lighting on the robots that they do things like turn off before exploding. It's really cool. It's available on the Xbox One. Definitely go check that out as well. Both of these games so far having some fairly positive reviews, typically around the 4-star level. So definitely, if you're into 6 Degree of Freedom games like I am, go check these 2 games out. Really cool stuff. Moving on to the community news this week, Descent Rangers, of course, will be playing their weekly event next week. It's called Sandwich City. There are 3-player games in a level called Genohide for Descent 1 and Descent 2. They'll be playing typical Ranger-style games. So if you want to get together in a smaller group of games, normally they have like these big Anarchy games, but they're going to be holding it down to 3 players for this one. You can check this one out next Saturday, the 25th, 3 p.m. Eastern and noon Pacific. And talking about the Observatory, we just had the 3rd qualifier yesterday. Man, what a blast this is. And Jedi Luke is running away with Season 2. He has undefeated, 12-0, 54 points. Keep in mind, he did not go undefeated last season. He was 11-1. Sirius, firmly in second, 29 points with a 7-3 record. Phyrix with 17 points. He has a 5-7 record. Dracona showed up to play a few games yesterday. She got 11 points and is 3-1. Melvin, 9 points from the first week, 2-2. Lee getting 9 points. He's 3-8, and Furno showing up for 11 games. And we're going to have the final tournament. The Season 2 finals will be this Saturday, the 25th. That will be at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. That's over on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Ronclea. And you can find all the information about the observatory over at ronclea.com/gaming/the-observatory. And you can see all the past matches, how they stand up. You can even look at previous observatory episodes from last year. It's pretty cool stuff. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to the fun that is the Descent Champions Ladder. And it's been an interesting 2 weeks. Definitely activity has been down a bit through these 2 weeks. We have 74 games played. The majority of those are silver versus silver, so 19 there. There's also been a nice smattering of diamond versus gold, diamond versus silver, silver versus bronze, gold versus silver. A lot of activity. We don't have a whole lot of bronze players, but we do have some interesting news when it comes to bronze. So let's go ahead and get started. We say hello to Maestro, who showed up for 3 games and has a threatening score under his belt, putting 18 up on Lee in something called Revamped. Not sure what that is, but sounds interesting. Lato 2 also showing up for 3 games. Hello there. Big Rat showing up for 2 games as well, both against Silver. This is also a threatening score here against B2AF, going to overtime, but losing 22-20 in a map called Enan. Very interesting stuff. And then top bronze goes to a pilot by the name of Nalexi. He's been around for a while, but has not played very often. He showed up to play 5 games against silver, did not get a win, but where he did get a win was against gold, picking up that coveted bronze gold dark horse against Rethink. 13-20, a dark horse victory in Audacity. Congratulations to Alexi. He has put up a promotion challenge based on that game to silver. We have 5 pilots already filling that out. I wish I'd gotten into that. I didn't see it in time. But no games have played as of yet. All right, so moving on to silver tier. Lady Silver is here for 6 games. Not picking up a win against silver, but she also grabs a dark horse, this time against Morphod in Crimson. One of her favorite levels, 20-17 with 3 suicides, as well as a threatening score in Ascend of 20-16. So, good job, Lady Silver. She also had a pretty close game. We'll get to that in a bit. Skywarp showing up for 3 games. Didn't play anything in silver, but did get 2 wins over bronze. We have P-Funk for 5 games this week, 3-0 against silver, including 2 close games, 20-17 against Lee and Nisa, and an overtime victory, 21-19 in Logic X4 over Lady Silver. Fantastic game. Really cool. Now, we also have Lee to talk about. Of course, Lee is always busy. He's played 21 games in the past week. 3-0 against bronze, picking up a silver win. And this is a dominating win, 20-10 in D2 Pandemonium Level 2. It's one of the stock levels with the game. So, nice job, Lee, there. We say hello to Fyrex, who's got 9 games, all against silver this week, 8-1, including 3 close games, all against Lee, 20-16 in Killbox X5, 20-16 in Savage, and 20-17 in Athena. But he's also had some pretty dominating games against Lee, including a 20-8 in Killbox X5, a 20-10 in Mindtrix, and a 20-8 in D2 Pandemonium 3. That was for a trophy match. I believe that's for the D2 trophy. So that will be showing up on. Let me just double check. Yep, D2 trophy. I see the trophy over there. So congrats to Pyrex for picking that up. Hyper showing up for 5 games, 1-3 against silver, including a close game 20-17 over B2AF in Fused. But that's not to say B2AF hasn't been busy. He's played 29 games this week, 6-1 against silver, including 2 close games, 20-16 versus Hyper and Mindtrix, and 20-18 against Lee and Lurk. But he's also been beaten up on gold, 2-6. Both of those wins, the elusive Dark Horse domination in both of those wins. The first one being in Black Rose, 20-6 with 4 suicides, and in Descent 2's Minerva 69, 20-6 with 9 suicides. And you might think Rethink is struggling a bit. You would be correct, but we'll get to that in a second as we go to gold. Say hello to Draconish. Played 1 game against Jedi Luke, and I believe that was the one that was played on the Observatory in Ascend X4. And then Rethink has had a rough go at it this week. 11 games played, 0-1 against bronze, 3-2 against silver, no wins against gold and diamond, but he has put up some nice numbers on his demotion challenge that has resulted from all of this. He had the demotion challenge before he gave up that bronze gold dark horse, and he's played 3 games of that so far, including a 20-22 overtime loss against Vaniac to gain 5 points, a 20-22 overtime loss with 3 suicides against Jedi Luke to gain 7 points, and a 16-20 loss against Morphod, but still gaining 3 points out of that. He has 15 points. His spot in gold is secure for another month. So Rethink not going anywhere for a while. Morphod showing up to play 6 games, unretiring and getting on fiber for a week. And he's got those 3 wins against Silver. Played 2 games against Jedi Luke. We have Vaniac also playing 12 games this week. Undefeated against Silver. 1-0 against Gold, including a close 22-20 game, which we already mentioned. That's in Logic against Rethink. And a threatening score on Jedi Luke, 20-15 with 4 suicides in Mindtrix. So that brings us to Diamond. And Jedi Luke playing 26 games last 2 weeks. And 13-0 against Gold, 13-0 against Silver. 2 close games to talk about against Gold. 22-20, that's the one we talked about in Audacity of 3 suicides against Rethink. And the 20-15 threatening score with Mindtrix. But there is a list of dominations, and let's start with Silver. 20-4 over P-Funk and Logic, 20-0 shutout, 3 suicides in Logic against Skywarp, 20-5 against B2AF with 2 suicides in Flea, 20-4 against B2AF with 1 suicide in Logic, 20-2 against Lee with 1 suicide in Pillbox X4, 20-2 against Lee with 1 suicide in Logic X2. Moving on to Goldie's got one against Vaniac, 20-7 with 2 suicides in Nisa X2, 20-10 over Rethink with 2 suicides in Rip, 20-2 in Logic X4, and 20-4 in Salute X4. So even when the workload is a little lighter than usual, Jedi Luke's still putting in those dominations, so congratulations to him. And that does it for the DCL. Of course, our highlight of the week is going to go to the Observatory with Jedi Luke's 20-18 thrilling win over Sirius in Nisa. That just happened yesterday. And he was up pretty good. I think it was like 19-15 at one point, and Sirius looked like he was going to make a comeback. And there was some talk, maybe Sirius should have suicided if he was low on shields. We knew he took a few hits, but didn't know how low he was. With Jedi Luke, able to do Jedi Luke things, come in and wrap up that win. And it was a superb game from beginning to end. Definitely worth checking out. I'm actually going to be doing some video editing right after this podcast, and we'll have that up on YouTube shortly. So definitely go check that out. And apologies for the short episodes, but where's Morphod? Anyone see Morphod? I haven't seen Morphod. But I know he's very busy with school. He's very busy with other life events going on. So he can be excused for a few weeks, I think. So we'll have him back soon enough. So we'll see him pretty soon. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or confessions, I think I did that right, email us over at emails@selfdestructsequence.org. And be sure to note if you are wanting us to read your name and make fun of you with your name attached, or if you want to stay anonymous, then we'll make fun of you anyway. Other contact information on Facebook and Twitch. You can find us at SDS Podcast, and over on Twitter, you can find us at SDS_activated. All this information is available over at our website at selfdestructsequence.org. We're going to be coming at you probably every other week for a while at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Pacific, every Sunday, right here on twitch.tv/SDS Podcast. And you can go check out our podcast over on iTunes, subscribe over there, give us a rating and review, help us out. And if you or someone you love wants to get back into the game of Descent, well, they can do that. They can go head over to the Descent Champions ladder. This is over at descentchampions.org/new_player.php. You can find all the information that you need to get back into the modern game of Descent. So be sure to watch out for our next stream. And until next time, guys, see you, bye.